Pokémon Sword and Shield are two video games for the Nintendo Switch that were released internationally on November 15th of 2019. That hasn't, wait. Hey guys, it's the boy, Daddy Drifloon News, here to give you the scoop that'll give you the goop. So, a new Pokémon Sword and Shield trailer, real neat. New Pokemon called Horpichu, it's an electric type, it's probably bottom tier, but when it gets horny, it can Mega Evolve into Horny Horpichu, which is like regular Horpichu, but it gets like plus 15 mana or something. Anyway, let's talk about this train that's going to Kalos, because you know that train is going to Kalos. That train... Pokémon Sword and Pokémon Shield are two upcoming video games for the Nintendo Switch. As a pocketer of the monsters myself, who has been through 8 of these game releases in one way or another, going all the way back to when I was an actual child, and I thought Lava Plume was a better attack for Typhlosion than Flamethrower, you piece of... I've developed some traditions for the months leading up to a new Pokemon release. I watch the reveal trailer, I get really excited, I maybe make some online posts, try to choose my starter if I can, and then I enter the bomb shelter. I don't try to look for more information. I try not to watch the trailers or especially any of those trailer analysis videos that break down everything. This goes double the month or two before release, where information becomes very specific and the amount of actual surprises left in the game for a player to discover diminishes. And it goes sextuple for cases like Sun and Moon, where information gets leaked before a game's release, or back in the Dark Ages when Japan got the games before everywhere else. I want to preserve the surprise of playing a Pokemon game for the first time, like in X and Y, where I first found a Hawlucha and I didn't know what that was, and then learning how to pronounce Hawlucha, and then my team getting utterly destroyed by a Hawlucha. But there's sort of a second part to this tradition, is there? The time when I'm just browsing through Twitter or whatever, and I see something like this. And I go, Wait, what? In this trailer we have Galarian forms, which is cool and actually kinda surprising. I thought regional variants was a really good idea, and I was really worried that it'd become yet another one-off thing that inevitably gets abandoned to make room for whatever else Game Freak wants to do. I hope this leads to many more years of increasingly ridiculous ideas that'll permanently loom over everyone's favorite Pokemon, because after hundreds of hours spent catching these things, I have lost any and all sense of emotional attachment to them, and now none of you can have any either. Galarian Linoone can evolve into Obstagoon, a brand new Pokemon with the signature move Obstruct. Obstagoon? More like a political joke, I guess. I can like vote now. I gotta pay attention to this stuff. I don't know. Elizabeth Wartortle. I love Obstagoon. I will almost certainly maybe use him in my party. Zigzagoon to me just seems like this playful child, going every which way without a care in the world. By Linoone, you know, it's 20-something, getting that master's degree, just moving up in the business world, a real go-getter with a bright future ahead. And Obstagoon, you can tell, has settled down, probably has a few kids of their own, just knows when to say no, and that's something I could admire. Also, this is technically at least one new evolution of an old Pokemon, an idea that's one of the precious few things that basically every Pokemon fan likes, and is way less work than creating a new creature from scratch, yet for some reason it's something Game Freak never does anymore. Come on, I want to see the final form of Dunsparce. Turn him into Funsparce, the magic clown. Nobody will like it, which means everyone, deep down, will love it. Pokemon do manual labor now, because Game Freak likes to draw attention to the weird subtext surrounding the entire premise of this series. They get paid in experience, which seems like a huge red flag. I don't know, are the Pokemon gonna unionize? Every joke about this thing has been probably made at least 5 times over, and all I can do at this point is just to point out that one of the jobs is to protect our investments. Hey, Charizard. How are the stocks doing? Is Bitcoin going up? Please. You're my only financial advisor. Of course, there's also the elephant Pokemon in the room. We need to talk about a certain group of overly passionate Pokemon fans who, though well-meaning, ultimately just serve as an annoyance to everyone else who's just trying to mind their own business. It's Team Yell, and they're one of the many arbitrary requirements that I guess are legally required to be in every Pokemon game or else Pikachu dies in real life. When I was a kid and I watched the televised animated series, I really enjoyed how the Pokemon League was this giant tournament that people would actually watch as spectators, rather than being just a bunch of fancy, mostly empty rooms. In August of 2019, as someone who technically would qualify as an adult, I really enjoy the fact that Pokémon Sword and Shield are treating their league the same way. Some people say they don't play Pokemon for the story. These are the same people who then turn around and call the final rival fight from Pokémon Red and Blue one of the greatest final boss fights in video game history. Gen 1 was basic and didn't have much in the way of cool set pieces or any interesting characters, but one thing it still has over its successors is a real conflict with an antagonist that's introduced in the beginning and culminates in the final, most challenging fight of the game. Modern Pokemon games basically wrap up all the actually interesting stuff before you're even done collecting gym badges, culminating in a final battle against some usually boring secondary character that you essentially have no reason to be fighting except this person happens to be the champion, I guess. Stuff like the Distortion World and the Ether Foundation are cool, but they have to be pushed to the side because every game still has to be about winning the Pokemon League, even though it gets relatively less interesting with every new release because otherwise Pikachu will die IRL. Basically what I'm saying is, if we're still tying progress to fighting gym leaders in the Elite Four, I'm glad it can actually be a central focus with regard to story and characters, and just be a little bit interesting. Sun and Moon's Island Challenge was a step in the right direction, and with Sword and Shield, the other foot just might land directly on Champion Diantha's face. Or maybe Marnie and Team Yell will just be obnoxious roadblocks that get dealt with somewhere between the 7th and 8th badge, and the real final battle will be against like this guy or some other boring cheese. I'm really fine with anything, honestly, as long as my Grookey can learn how to manage an Excel spreadsheet. And at last, the flash of news has dimmed and we return to a world of darkness. Daddy Drifloon News fully supports the campaign to bring back the National Dex, by which, I mean, we know it's not going to happen, and we all must support each other as friends and family as we move past this, begin to heal, and see the games as what they are rather than what we all wanted them to be, for good or bad, really. But not me. As I said before in the video, I have no emotional attachment to any Pokemon whatsoever. I'm going to be catching these pocket monsters until the day I die because we're all trying to escape the darkness within us, and what better way to do that than with Wobbuffet. Daddy Drifloon News signing out.